Good morning, all of you. In the last session, we started our discussion related to first module in our course, that is DevOps introduction. DevOps, nothing but development plus operations collaboration. DevOps is not a technology, guys. DevOps is one culture which started in the IT industry to develop and deliver projects to the clients quickly. DevOps is a process which is used to establish collaboration between development and operations in the project development lifecycle. Using this DevOps culture, we can deliver the project to the client quickly with quality. Now, when we go to the project development, here development team will be available and operational team will be available. Development team contains several developers who are responsible to develop the project. They are called as programmers. They are going to collect the requirements and they will analyze the requirements. They will design the project. I mean to say plan they are going to prepare. Then they will do the coding, programming they will do to implement functionality. Once the programming completed, then they will test whatever the programming that they have done. Is that program working as expected or not? They are going to test it. Then they will do code integration. Multiple developers are working on the project, so all the developers code should be integrated at one common place. For that, they are going to use GitHub or Bitbucket repositories are available. Once the project development completed, then we cannot give the project code to the client directly because clients cannot understand the programs. Clients don't know what is Java, what is Python, what is .NET. Once the development work is completed, we cannot give the code to the client directly. We need to perform some operations to deliver the project to the client. That's where after the development, this operations team has to work. So what is the responsibility of operations team? These are also called as IT support teams. What is the responsibility of these operational teams? Operational teams are responsible to do two activities mainly. One is infrastructure setup. One is infrastructure setup. Infrastructure setup means to run the application, we need one environment, one platform. As I discussed yesterday, uh, to to start one software training institute, we have recruited several employees. We have taken a building for rent. We have taken chairs. We have taken projectors. We have taken office boys and telecallers, HRs, managers, administrator, designers, right? Digital marketing team. And we have prepared that environment. It took almost 2 months for me to set up the environment to start a software training institute. Similarly, if you want to start one restaurant, you need to take one building, you need to do the interior designing, you need to purchase the tables, you need to purchase the chairs, lighting, and you need to recruit a cashier, bill counter you need to set up, and you need to recruit the chefs, you need to prepare the kitchen material, groceries. It will take approximately 3 to 4 months of time if you want to set up one new restaurant. That is the environment to prepare the food and sell the food. I have prepared a institute to provide the online and offline classes for the students. So like this, if we want to run one application also, we need one platform. To run the application also, we need one platform. Who is going to prepare that platform? Operational team members are going to prepare the platform. What is the meaning of preparing the platform? It is called setting up infrastructure which is required to run our project. Now you see Ashok IT website is available. You guys are able to access Ashok IT project. This is our website. In this website, you can see what are the new batches are starting, courses timetable, courses timetable. You can go to this website and you can see the courses which we have purchased. You can see the class notes of these courses. Zoom link you can find out, Telegram link, course status, all these details you can find out in our website. Interview questions you can find out. Our blog is available, our contact information. This project is running. How this project is running? Is this project running in my system? Can you access this project? Can you access this project? Guys, can you click on that link? Is the project is accessible for you? Yes, that means that project is running in one server. That server is available in one computer. That project is having one database. That is the environment we have prepared. The project Ashok IT website is running in one server. It is a web application. Everybody want to access this website. If I want to provide the facility for the people to access my website, that should be deployed to a server so that people can access. So if you click on this link, this website is opening in your system also, in your mobile, in your laptop, in your desktop. You can access our website. That means the project is not running in my laptop. The project is running in the cloud. The project is running in a server. That server is available in one computer. That computer is available in different location. Through internet you are able to access, and the project is having a database. Who are registered in the Ashok IT website, how many students are registered, who joined for which course, how much payment they have done, when they have done the payment, is there any due in the payment, interview questions, training schedules, faculty details, faculty phone number, student email IDs. Everything is stored in our database. That infrastructure is prepared to run our website. Infrastructure setup. Okay. Now, once the infrastructure setup is done, we need to take the code by the from the GitHub. Developers has done the code. The developers will keep the code into the Git repository. That operations team should prepare the infrastructure, and operations team should take the code from the GitHub. They should convert the code into computer understandable format. Whatever the code done by the developers, that code may not be understood by the computers directly. Computers will understand only binary language, ones and zeros, but the code is developed by using Java, .NET, Python, PHP. Computers cannot understand Java, Python, PHP directly. The code which is done by the developers should be compiled. That is called project build. Project build. Project development is different. Project build is different. Project development means writing the code. Project build means converting the code into computer understandable format. Okay, we are going to do the build. Then we will keep the code as a package, one war file, one zip file. So many programs will be available in a project. We need to package that project, right? Java projects will be packaged as a jar file or war file. Then we need to deploy the project. Project deployment means keeping the project inside the server so that everybody can access that. Now you are able to access Ashok IT website, nothing but Ashok IT project having an infrastructure to run. Ashok IT project is deployed into a server. As it is running inside a server, you are able to access that project. So these are the activities that you need to perform as a DevOps engineer. You need to perform infrastructure setup. You need to perform infrastructure setup, and you need to perform project build and project deploy. Infrastructure setup, nothing but taking the computers, installing the required softwares, setting up the network for that computers, installing the servers, setting up the database, establishing the connection between the application and the databases, taking the machines and keeping the machines ready, servers ready, database ready. You need to prepare the platform to run the application, right? Once the platform is ready, then you can take the code done by the developers from the GitHub or Bitbucket, then do the build and deploy. Build means converting the project into computer understandable format. Deployment means deploy the project into server so that everybody can access, then deliver the project. Now you see, it is a software development life cycle. Software development life cycle. Client is giving the requirements, developers are going to develop the code, they will keep the code into GitHub. Then operations team will prepare the environment, and they are going to perform the build and deploy, then they will deliver project to the client. So now here, as we discussed yesterday, development team is going to perform these activities and operations team is going to perform these activities. So developers and operational team members are working on the same project. When the two teams are working on the same project, do we need to have some collaboration, or we no need to have a collaboration? Do we need the collaboration between the development team and operations team, and collaboration is not required between development team and operations team? Collaboration is required between the development team, because what the developers are doing and what the operations team is doing, there should be some collaboration between these two teams. There should be some collaboration between these two teams. Okay. There should be some collaboration between these two teams. Are you getting my point? There should be some collaboration between these two teams. So that's where DevOps comes into picture. Okay. Now, so if there is no communication between the development team and operations team, then we cannot deliver the project to the client on time. The project deliveries will get a delay. So there should be collaboration between the development team and operations team. That collaboration we are going to achieve by using DevOps process or by using DevOps culture. By using DevOps process or by using DevOps culture. Are you clear with my point? Are you clear with my point? Good. Now, so what is the meaning of here, guys? As a DevOps engineer, you need to understand two things. First one, infrastructure setup. First one is infrastructure setup. What is the meaning of infrastructure setup? Can you tell me what is infrastructure setup? To run a project, we need the environment. We need to prepare an environment to run the project. The environment preparation is called as infrastructure. To run a project, we need to prepare environment. We need to prepare environment. So what is the meaning of that environment preparation? Environment means the platform. Environment means the platform which is used to execute our project, which is used to run our project. To run a project, we need to prepare environment. Environment means the platform which is used to run our project. Now, what is required? Computers. Computers required. Computers. Then network for the computers. Network for the computers. Power. Power is required. Electricity required for a computer. Computers we have to purchase. Network, internet connection we have to purchase. We need to set up a electricity for that computer to run. Power and air conditioner. Air conditioner. Am I right? AC is required to keep the servers cool, and we need to take a server room. Servers per servers we need to take. Application servers, these are nothing but web servers to run the application. Web servers we have to purchase. Web servers we have to purchase. And database servers we have to purchase. Storage we have to purchase to store the data. All these things comes under environmental setup. Okay, taking the computers, setting up the network for the computers, power setup, air conditioner, web servers, database servers, security, everything we need to consider as part of infrastructure setup. Everything we need to consider as part of infrastructure setup. Now, tell me guys, do we need to purchase all these things? I want to run my project on 10 computers. Shall I go and purchase 10 computers? Network, take a Wi-Fi connection with a high-speed internet, take a generator for the power backup, AC, web servers, database servers, storage, security. To keep all these computers and all, we need to take one room. In that room, we need to keep our security guard for protecting our machines and all. All these things we need to do. Now tell me, I will purchase all these things to develop a project. To purchase all these things, I have spent 2 crores of rupees. To purchase all these things I have spent 2 crores of rupees. Budget I have spent. I have taken a big room. I have purchased 100 computers. I have taken internet monthly 50,000 only for internet. Power backup generator 24/7 power is required. ACs to keep my computers cool. To run my project, I have purchased servers. To store my data, I have purchased a database, storage, security guard. Everything I have configured. I have done the setup. Then I have developed a project. I deliver the project to the client. Client told that his business is not running. He want to stop this project. Client told that his business is not running. He want to stop the project. Client stopped that business. Then what about our 2 crores? Waste or not? If a project is running, client will pay the money. If the project is not running, client will not pay the money. So we have spent 2 crores of rupees to purchase all these things, right? Project got stopped. Then what about the infrastructure? No use. So now tell me, do we really need to purchase the infrastructure? Do we really need to purchase the infrastructure? Some companies will purchase, some companies will purchase and set up infrastructure that is called as on-premises infrastructure. That is called as on-premises infrastructure. On-prem infrastructure, on-premises infrastructure. On-premises infrastructure, nothing but we are purchasing all the softwares which are required and we are configuring on our own. Okay, so that is called on-premises infrastructure. On-premises, nothing but you are paying the money and you are purchasing the softwares and you are configuring the softwares which are required to run your application. That is called as on-premises infrastructure. If you go for on-premises infrastructure, you need to take care of all the infrastructure. You need to purchase the infrastructure. You have to set up the infrastructure. You need to recruit the employees to set up the infrastructure. You need to recruit database administrator. You need to recruit server administrator. You need to recruit network administrator. Lot of things you need to consider. You need to pay the money. You need to spend the time and you need to depend on the people to set up this infrastructure. Are you guys able to follow my words? What is the problem if you go with on-premises infrastructure? Are you guys able to understand what is the problem if we go with the on-premises infrastructure? If we go with the on-premises infrastructure, first thing is we need to pay the money. Okay, assume that you have 2 crores. You purchased this. Do you know how to set up a database? Do you know how to set up a database? Do you know how to set up a web server? Do you know how to set up a network? Do you know how to secure your servers? Do you know how to configure all these things? Then what we need to do? We purchased, just we paid the money, we purchased. Can we do all these configurations? You cannot. Then what you need to do? For network setup, you need to recruit network engineer. For server setup, you need to recruit server administrator. For database setup, you need to recruit database administrator. For security, you need to recruit security engineer. That means we are paying the money and we need to depend on the people also. You need to spend a lot of time on this. For example, today your network is not working. Network engineer on the leave. Today your computer network is not working. Network engineer is not feeling well. He's on the leave. Then everything is collapsed or not? So lot of challenges will be there if you purchase infrastructure. If you have money, you can purchase, but you cannot do everything on your own. You need to recruit the employees to do all this setup. That is called as on-premises infrastructure. If your company purchasing the infrastructure and if your company managing this infrastructure, then that is called as on-premises infrastructure. Then that is called as on-premises infrastructure. Are you guys clear with my point? So if we set up on-prem infrastructure, then we have to purchase and set up everything. We have to purchase and set up everything required for project. We have to purchase, set up and manage everything. Not only purchasing, we need to set up and manage everything required for project. So to overcome this problem, it requires a lot of money and time. It requires a lot of money and time. You need to spend the money and you need to spend the time also to set up the infrastructure which is required for our application. Instead of going for on-prem infrastructure, instead of setting up on-prem infrastructure, on-prem infrastructure, we can go for cloud infrastructure. We can go for cloud infrastructure. Guys, now what is the advantage of going for cloud infrastructure? What is the advantage if I go for cloud infrastructure? Do I need to purchase anything? Do I need to purchase anything if I go for cloud infrastructure? Come on. Simple example. Simple example. As I told yesterday, there is a function in your house. 2 days function is there. Your marriage. 2 days function. You are inviting your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, colleagues, whoever. Assume that you are inviting 1,000 people for your marriage. For these 1,000 people, 2 days you have to arrange food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, party you are giving, marriage party. Okay. For these 2 days, you need some chairs, you need some tables, you need some kitchen material, some decoration, everything you want. Can you purchase 1,000 chairs, 500 tables with your money for your function? Why? Why you will not purchase? Your marriage function, man. Your marriage function. Once in lifetime. Once in lifetime you will do that marriage, you will get that marriage, right? Why don't you purchase the chairs and tables? Can you spend 10 lakhs rupees and can you purchase that material? 1,000 chairs, 500 tables, kitchen material, decoration material, everything. We want to use that only for 2 days. Why to pay 10 lakh rupees? Why to purchase that material for 2 days of our usage? We can go for rent, right? We can just pay rent, 1 lakh rupees rent we can pay for 2 days and we can use it and we can return that back to that owner. Same concept is happening in the IT industry also. Nowadays, companies don't want to purchase all these things. Companies don't want to manage all these things. That's the reason companies are going for cloud infrastructure. If I go for cloud infrastructure, all these things I will get for rent. Computers, network, power, AC, web server, database server, storage, security. Do I need to bother about these things now? If I go for a cloud, do I need to bother about these things? No need. You now, when you have a function in your house, you have a function, you want to take the chairs and tables, you will go to a tent house, you will talk to them, deal 1 lakh rupees for 2 days, lighting, chairs, tables, decoration, stage, kitchen material, everything. Do you need to arrange the chairs or they will do the arrangement? Everything they will do. If you pay 1 lakh rupees for tent house, shamiana material, do you need to do anything if you pay 1 lakh rupees? They will only bring all the material, they will set up everything, they will prepare the stage, they will decorate the stage, they will arrange the tables, they will arrange the chairs for 2 days. Once your function completed, again they will take the chairs, they will take the tables, they will take the decoration material, they will remove the stage and they will go to home. Everything they are going to manage. Do you need to do anything? You just need to see how the things are happening. You just need to enjoy your function. That's it. You no need to set up the tables, chairs, decoration and all. That will be taken care by tent house people. Shamiana people will take care of that. Event management people will take care of that. Similarly, if you go for cloud infrastructure, you no need to set up the environment. You no need to purchase the softwares. You no need to manage anything. You just pay the money, use the infrastructure provided by the cloud. That is called cloud infrastructure. The future of the IT industry is the cloud only. The future of the IT industry is cloud only. Nowadays, people are not interested to purchase these things, not because purchasing is easy, no problem. If you have the money, you can purchase. Uske baad, maintenance is very difficult. You can purchase. If you have the money, you can purchase. But purchasing is not the problem. Managing is the problem. Purchasing is not problem. Managing is the problem. Are you getting my point? How can we avoid this problem? How can we avoid this problem? By going for cloud infrastructure. So now instead of setting up on-prem infrastructure, we can go for cloud infrastructure. If we use cloud, if we go for cloud infrastructure, we can take all the softwares for rent. All the softwares for rent. We use the infrastructure and pay the money for your usage. Okay, now if we go for cloud infrastructure, we can take all the softwares for rent. All the softwares for rent. Then cloud provider will manage infrastructure. Cloud provider, cloud provider will manage, cloud provider will manage infrastructure. Cloud provider will manage infrastructure. We need to use cloud. We just need to use infrastructure and pay money for our usage. How much you use, for that much you need to pay. Guys, we just need to use the infrastructure and pay money for our use. This is called as cloud computing. This is called as cloud computing. Now tell me, tomorrow when you join in the company, where you need to do setup infrastructure? Companies are going to do on-prem infrastructure nowadays, or companies are going to do cloud infrastructure? Tell me guys, are we going to do the setup on-prem or cloud? Come on. Cloud infrastructure. Cloud infrastructure. Understand my point? What is on-prem and what is cloud? If you go for on-prem, we have to purchase everything, we have to set up everything. The problems are there. You have to invest money, you have to invest your time, you need to recruit the people, you have to manage everything. Why to take that burden? Why to take that burden? Just to pay the money, use it. That is called cloud computing. Whatever the infrastructure, whatever the computers you need, what are the servers you need, whatever the database you need, everything you can take for the rent from the cloud provider. AWS is one of the cloud provider available in the market. Note, AWS is one of the leading cloud provider in the market. AWS is one of the leading cloud provider in the market. Now here, see here, Amazon, AWS. I think everybody might have Amazon Prime account to watch the movies, Amazon account to purchase the products, mobiles, electronics, books, furniture. You can purchase from AWS, Amazon, right? So Amazon company having AWS, Amazon Web Services, Amazon Web Services. Now you can create an account in the AWS and you can set up the infrastructure in the AWS like this. I already have your account, guys. I will tell you how you can also create the account in the AWS. Now you see here, there are some services available in the AWS here. If you want to take a computer for rent, there is a concept called EC2. EC2 is one service in the AWS. By using this EC2, you can create the virtual computer. You can take a computer for rent from AWS. If you want a database, there is a RDS available. RDS, Relational Database Service. If you want a database for your project, you can go for RDS. Relational database like Oracle, MySQL databases you want for your project. You can set up the databases in the cloud by using Amazon RDS. Okay, you want a network for your project, internet connection for your servers, your machines, right? That is VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud, VPC. You can create a network for your project, right? I want to store some data. For storing the data in the Amazon, there is a service called S3, simple storage service, S3 buckets, unlimited data, not GBs, not TBs, any amount of data from anywhere you can store in the Amazon S3. Amazon S3, unlimited data you can store. It is a storage. So whatever you need for your project, you need computer, you can take the computer by using EC2. Okay, you want a server you can install in the EC2. You want a network VPC. You want storage S3. You want a database RDS. Are you guys getting my point? Everything you can use from AWS cloud. Now, if you don't use AWS cloud, then you need to set up all this infrastructure in your company. That is called on-premises infrastructure. If you go for on-premises infrastructure, we have to spend a lot of money and lot of time to set up the infrastructure that is difficult to manage. That is the reason nowadays people are going for cloud infrastructure. Cloud provider is available. AWS will provide you infrastructure. You just use it. You pay the money. You just use the infrastructure given by the AWS and you pay the money for your usage. AWS is one of the leading cloud provider available in the market. AWS is one of the leading cloud provider available in the market. So now, as a DevOps engineer, you need to know the cloud also. That's the reason our course is named as DevOps with AWS. Now you understand why we are learning AWS? Guys, are you able to understand why we are learning AWS now? Are we learning AWS only for time pass? Are we learning AWS only for time pass? No. Why we are learning AWS? What is the use of AWS? What is the use of AWS? For cloud computing. The future of the IT is cloud computing only. We can set up the infrastructure. Okay. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Why it is called as web service? They are providing a service. That means whatever the infrastructure, whatever the service you want, AWS providing the service through internet, web. That is the reason they called it as Amazon Web Service. Sir, we know Java Web Services. What is Amazon Web Service? Java Web Service is different. Amazon Web Service is different. Java Web Service is a project to access one application from another application. Amazon Web Service means what are the services are available in the AWS. Now you see in the AWS there are 200 plus services are available. S3 service, VPC, RDS, EC2, EFS, ECS, ECR, Lambda, CloudWatch, Beanstalk, IAM. These all are the services given by the AWS. AWS giving these services through web. That's why it is called as Amazon Web Services. That is the full form of the AWS. By using this AWS, we can set up infrastructure in the cloud and we need to pay the money for that infrastructure. AWS will provide the infrastructure, you use it and you pay money for your use. It is pay as you go. That means like a postpaid bill. Any of you using postpaid mobile? Postpaid mobile number? Postpaid mobile number. Postpaid mobile number means you need to pay money first or you will pay money at the end of the month. How the postpaid mobiles are going to work? After using, we have to pay every month at the month end. At the month end, they are going to calculate how many minutes calls you have used and how much data you have used. Like credit card, postpaid mobiles, after using you have to pay. Same thing, cloud providers also will follow the same approach. They will give you everything. You can use whatever you want. At the month, they will check what you have used and they will calculate the bill. They will generate the bill for you. You have to pay the bill on at the month end. You see, if you go to my AWS account billing dashboard, whatever the infrastructure I have used, that bill will be generated here. That bill we have to pay on monthly basis. Currently, $2 almost, $2 bill amount generated for me because it is a training. I'm using some resources in the AWS cloud. Okay, sir, to learn this course, do we need to pay the money for AWS? No, you don't need to pay the money for AWS. We are going to create a free account in the AWS for our training purpose. You no need to pay single rupee also for AWS. We just need to create one free tier account in the AWS. To create the account in the AWS, it will ask a debit card or credit card. It will charge you just 2 rupees from your account. And again, they will send the 2 rupees back to your account. Just 2 rupees, they are going to charge for your card verification. After your card is verified, then they will send the 2 rupees back to your account. You don't need to bother about it. You need to have a debit card or a credit card. Then you can create the account in the AWS. I will tell you how to create the account also. You no need to bother about it. Just 2 rupees they are going to charge, and the 2 rupees also will come back to your account after 1 week. Okay, guys. Right. So now, can you tell me what is AWS? Why we are going for AWS? Guys, come on. Can you tell me what is AWS and why we are going for AWS? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Why we are using AWS? Why we are learning AWS in this course? To do infrastructure setup in the cloud. Instead of going for on-premises infrastructure, we need to do cloud infrastructure. If I go for cloud infrastructure, do I need to manage all these things, or AWS cloud provider will manage all these things? Who will manage my infrastructure now? AWS will manage, or DevOps engineer will manage? AWS will manage. You just need to know how to set it up. They have everything. You just need to know how to set it up. Infrastructure setup we are going to do on the cloud. Now tell me, how many ways we can set up infrastructure for our project? Guys, how many ways we can set up infrastructure for our project? I'm asking a question. How many ways we can set up infrastructure for a project? 2 ways. One is on-premises infrastructure. Second one is cloud infrastructure. What is the difference between on-prem infrastructure and cloud infrastructure? On-prem and cloud. What is the difference between on-prem and cloud? Guys, tell me, what is the difference between on-prem and cloud? On-prem means we have to manage everything. We have to purchase. We have to purchase everything, and we have to manage everything. Lot of money, lot of time, lot of risk. Cloud means pay as you use, pay for use, pay for go, pay for use, pay for use. You use it, you pay the money. That's it. Right. So with this, we understood why we are going to do this AWS as part of our course. AWS is one of the leading cloud provider available in the market. AWS will provide the infrastructure for rental. AWS will charge for your usage. On monthly basis, bill will be generated. For training period, you no need to pay any bill for AWS, guys, because we are learning AWS, we are exploring AWS. From students, AWS will not charge the money. I will tell you how to use AWS without paying money. As part of our course, you no need to pay any amount for the AWS. How to create free account, how to use AWS for free, that I'm going to tell you. In the companies, they will pay the money for AWS. They will set up cloud infrastructure in the companies, and they will pay the money for that. That's good. Next one. Here, when we are doing this setup in the cloud, we are going to take a computer, we are going to take a network, power, servers, database servers, storage, security. Computer is required. For every computer, we need one operating system. Can you use a computer without operating system? You are using laptops, right? In your laptop, which operating system available? In your laptop, which operating system is available? Windows. You are using Windows. Windows given by which company? Windows given by which company? Microsoft. Windows given by Microsoft. Windows is free or Windows is licensed? Windows is a free operating system or licensed operating system? Windows is licensed operating system. It's not open source. We are using crack version of the Windows. We are not using original version of the Windows. Windows original OS is licensed. Windows original OS is licensed. We have to pay the money to use the license. You all are using crack version of the Windows, not the original version of the Windows. All right. Okay. Any doubts? You guys can ask me at the end of the session, guys. Malik Basha, Monica, Nishi Ganda. If you have any questions, you guys will get the option to unmute your mic at the end of the session. Okay. Right. Now, so here we are using Windows operating system. Even I'm taking the class for you in the Windows operating system because Windows is easy to use and it is having lot of GUI, easy to use. But Windows is recommended only for personal computers, not for the servers, not for the databases, not for the project's deployment. In the company, which operating system we will use to set up the infrastructure? Linux machines. Which operating system we will use to set up the infrastructure, guys? To set up the infrastructure, we are going to use Linux machines. Linux machines. Okay. We will do infrastructure setup by using Linux machines. That means a machine with Linux operating system. We will set up infrastructure using Linux machines. That means a machine with Linux operating system. We will set up infrastructure using Linux machines. We can automate infrastructure setup. We can automate the works by writing some shell scripting. We can automate that by using shell scripting. We will use shell scripting. We will use shell scripting to automate our regular work. We will use a shell scripting to automate our regular work. Every day, I want to send one email. Every day, I want to send one email. Every day, I want to stop my server and I want to start my server. Every day, I want to take the data backup. It is my regular work as a DevOps engineer. Now, my project is running on a server. Every day morning at 6 o'clock, I want to restart my server. I want to take the logs backup. I want to delete the temp data. I want to restart my server. Some regular works will be available every day on the servers. So do you want to do the regular work manually? Is it recommended? Is it recommended to do the regular work manually? Guys, come on. Is it recommended to do the regular work manually? Not at all recommended. Then what we need to do? What we need to do now? Automation. Better to automate. We can save the time. Every day morning, some regular work is there. What is the regular work that we need to do as a DevOps engineer? Check the servers, restart the servers, take the logs backup, take the data backup, clean the temp directory, delete the temp files. That regular work we need to do. So that regular work, instead of doing manually, we can automate that regular work by using shell scripting. The regular work we are doing by using shell scripting. Linux is free and open source operating system. What is this Linux, guys? Linux is free and open source operating system, right? We will set up infrastructure using Linux machines. In companies, in real time, we will use Linux machines to set up our infrastructure. We will use Linux OS to set up application infrastructure. Okay, now we will use shell scripting to automate our regular work. So what is the regular work? Server restart, okay, data backup, logs backup, temp files delete, etc. So that is the reason, as we are going to use Linux operating system in the companies, so you as a DevOps engineer, you need to know how to work with Linux also. Linux is free and open source operating system. In real time, we will use Linux OS only to set up the infrastructure. We will use shell scripting to automate our regular work. Scripting, that means some script we are going to write. Programming is different, scripting is different. We will use scripting to automate our regular work. So what would be the regular work? Servers restart, data backup. Simple example, man. If you are working continuously from morning 9 to night 9 o'clock, you will be tired or you will not be tired? You will be tired if you are doing the work from continuously from morning 9 o'clock to evening 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock also, can you continue your work or you need some rest? You need some rest or not? So similarly, if the servers are running continuously, burden will be increased on the servers. Sometimes we need to restart our servers. We need to restart our servers. Got my point? Servers restart, data backup, logs backup, temp files deleting, etc. These are the regular activities that we need to perform in our job. So instead of doing these works manually, we can automate by using scripting. We can automate that by using scripting. Samjha? Are you guys able to understand why we are learning Linux with shell scripting? Why we are understanding Linux and shell scripting? Are you able to understand this? All right. So with this, as a DevOps engineer, we understood what is infrastructure setup. Infrastructure setup you can do on cloud or you can do on-prem. On-prem means you are going to purchase everything and you are going to set up. That setup also we are going to do on the Linux machines because Linux is a free and open source operating system. All right. Now next one. So we will go for cloud computing. We will set up the infrastructure on the cloud by using Linux machines. So here in our course also we are going to learn Linux. We are going to learn the Linux and we are going to learn the shell scripting and we are going to learn the AWS cloud. So with these two steps, you will understand how to set up the infrastructure to run our application. That's it. With the step 3, with module 2 and module 3, what you will learn? With module 2 and module 3, what you are going to learn? How to set up infrastructure to run our application by using AWS cloud with the help of Linux operating system and with the help of shell scripting. It will take approximately 45 days of time to complete this. 45 days, 15 days for Linux and shell scripting, 1 month for the AWS. So with first 45 days, we are going to understand these things only. How to use Linux machines, how to do the shell scripting, how to set up infrastructure by using AWS cloud. So first we are going to understand infrastructure setup required to run our applications by using AWS cloud. First 45 days, you are going to understand these things only. First 45 days, we are going to understand these things only. First, we are going to start with Linux, then after shell scripting, then after AWS cloud. Why we are learning AWS cloud? What is cloud computing? How to set up infrastructure by using AWS cloud. Once your infrastructure is ready, then you can perform, build and deploy DevOps operations you can perform on the cloud infrastructure. Then you can perform DevOps operations on the cloud infrastructure. What is the DevOps operations? Build and deploy. You are going to perform build and deployment by using DevOps tools. Build and deployment you are going to do by using DevOps tools. Now, once the infrastructure is ready, now after learning Linux and AWS, guys, after learning Linux and AWS, we can set up infrastructure in cloud. We can set up infrastructure. We can set up infrastructure in AWS cloud. AWS cloud. Got it. Once it is completed, then we need to perform build and deployment. Got my point, guys? We need to perform build and deployment. Build and deployment. So what is the meaning of build and deployment? Can you tell me what is meaning of build and deployment? Developer, who is doing the coding? Are you going to do the coding in the project? Are you going to do the coding in the project? No. Who will be doing the coding? Who will be doing the coding? Developers are going to do the coding. Developers are going to do the coding. Now, see here, one person want to communicate with another person. Okay, here Raju is available. Raju is available, and here Rani is available. Raju and Rani. These are two persons, Raju and Rani. Two humans, two people. They want to communicate. What is required if they want to communicate? What is required? Raju will say hi. Rani will say hello. Can I say it is a language that they are using to communicate? Raju is saying hi. Rani is saying hello. Yes, they are using English as a language to communicate. They're using one language to communicate. Are you guys getting my point? Yes. If one person want to communicate with another person, we are using English as a mediator, or we can use, if the people based on their comfortable, they can use Telugu, Hindi, English, Marathi, Kannada, Oriya, Gujarati, Bhojpuri, like that. There are several languages are available. They can communicate with the language which they are comfortable. That's fine. Two people will communicate by using a language. But here, my requirement is Rani wants to communicate with a computer. Rani wants to talk to computer. Rani purchased a computer, and Rani want to talk to a computer. This is my machine, one computer. Can we talk to computer in Hindi? Hey computer, kaise ho? Can you talk to computer like that? Hey computer, ela unnao? Baunnava? How are you? Kaise ho? Can you ask that? Can you ask that? Can you talk to the computer in Hindi, English, Telugu? Why? Why we can't talk to the computer directly? Computer knows Telugu, huh? Computer knows English, huh? No. Computer don't know Telugu, Hindi, English, Kannada, Marathi. Computer don't know any of this language. Computer knows which language? Computer is a machine. Computer is a machine. It will understand 10101010. That is a binary language. Computer will understand only binary language. Computer will respond to you in the binary language. But we don't know that binary language. Computer knows binary language. So in order to talk to the computers, we are using programming languages. I want to give one task to computer. Computer, can you perform sum of two numbers? 2 plus 3, how much? I want to tell to computer, hey computer, can you add 2 and 3? Can you tell me the result? I want to give a task to computer. That's where we are using some programming languages like Java, .NET, Python, PHP and all. These all are the programming languages that we are using to talk to the computers. Are you guys able to understand my words? If two people want to communicate, we will use one normal language. If one person want to talk to a computer, we will use programming languages. Am I getting my point? Here, developers will write the programs using one programming language. Developers will develop project using one programming language. Example, Java, Python, C#, PHP, etc. Like that, there are so many programming languages are available. Developers will develop the project using one programming language. Developers will write code using programming language. As a DevOps engineer, we need to convert that code into computer understandable format. Are you guys clear with my point? As a Java developer, they will develop a Java program. Computer cannot understand Java also. We need to convert the Java program into computer understandable format. Binary language is different, English language is different. Binary language is different, programming Java is different. So whatever the Java code they write, that Java code should be converted into computer understandable format. That's where build tools are available, build tools available, build tools available to perform this conversion. Build tools available to perform this conversion. When you go for Java, there is a Maven tool available. By using Maven, you can perform the build. You can perform the build. Build tools available to perform this conversion. Whatever the Java code is available, we need to convert the Java code into computer understandable format. Maven we will use. Maven will internally use the Java only to do that conversion. Java compilers are available. That is called project build. Project development is different, project build is different. Project build means converting the project into computer understandable format. Okay, or server understandable format. We can say build tools are available to perform this conversion. As a DevOps engineer, we need to convert the code into computer understandable format, or we need to make sure that project is ready to execute in the server. As a DevOps engineer, we need to do that conversion. Developers will write the code using programming language. Developers will keep code in repository. Example, GitHub, Bitbucket, etc. Are you getting my point? Developers will write the code using programming language. Developers will keep code in the repository. What are the repositories available? GitHub is one repository. Bitbucket is one repository. They will keep the code in the GitHub, or they will keep the code in the Bitbucket. Earlier, SVN came into market. Long back, 10 years back, people used it to work with the SVN subversion to store the code. So now tell me, what is the duty of the developers now? Developers will develop the project using one programming language. Developers will write the code using programming language. Developers will keep code in the repository. Okay. As a DevOps engineer should take that code, from repository. DevOps engineer should take the code from repository. DevOps engineer should perform project build and deployment. Build means preparing the project in executable format. Project build means preparing project in executable format. Whatever the code is developed by the developers, you can't execute it directly. You need to convert the code into executable format. Project build means converting the project to source code into executable format. Build means converting the project code into executable format. Project deployment means deploying the project. Project deployment means deploying project executable file into server. Project deployment means keeping project executable file into server. Servers will be available where the servers will be available. Servers are available in the on-prem, or servers are available in the cloud. Guys, come on. Cloud infrastructure. Now, as a DevOps engineer, are you going to develop the code, or you will take the code from the GitHub? As a DevOps engineer, are you going to develop the code, or you are going to take the code from the GitHub? What is a GitHub? Repository. Who will keep the code in the GitHub? Who will take the code in the GitHub? Who will take the code in the GitHub? Developers. Okay. Now, so here code will come to GitHub. Code will come to GitHub, build and deploy and deliver. That's it. Easy, na? Now tell me, DevOps is difficult? DevOps is difficult. Programming is difficult. DevOps is just a build and deployment activity. ये difficult नहीं है, इसलिए मैं बोला था anybody can learn the DevOps. Programming knowledge is not required. Programming knowledge is not required. Anybody can learn the DevOps. Whether you are a mechanical background, whether you are a civil background, if you know how to use the computer, then you can learn the DevOps and AWS. ये बहुत आसान है भाई. It's not difficult. Because you need to do this infrastructure setup, you need to do the environment setup, and you need to do build and deployment. Code is already available. Code is already, code will be developed by the developers. They will give the code in the GitHub. From the GitHub, you take that code, you do the build and you deploy and you deliver. That's it. Understood? Little bit of scripting is required. Why scripting is required? I already explained you. Why scripting is required? Why scripting is required? We need to do some regular activities in the project as a DevOps engineer, as an administrator. Instead of doing that work every day, same work, instead of doing the same work again and again, we can write them script so that we can automate. That scripting is required. Right. Understand what is the duty as a DevOps engineer? Developers will develop the project using one programming language. Developers will create some programs using that language. Developers will keep that code in the repository like SVN, GitHub or Bitbucket. DevOps engineer should take that code from the repository. DevOps engineer should perform project build and deployment. Project build means converting the project code into executable format. Project deployment means keeping the project executable file into server. Deliver the project to client. After deployment, then deliver project to client. After deployment, then deliver project to client. Now here, to automate this build and deployment also, we are not going to do manually, guys. We are going to do, DevOps engineers will automate this build and deployment. Can you do every day? Take the code from the GitHub, do the build, do the deployment, deliver. Are you going to do this work manually? Will you do it manually every day, same work? Then what should we do? DevOps, as a DevOps engineer will automate project build and deployment. So everything is automation. Everything is automation. As a DevOps engineer, are you going to perform the build and deployment manually, or we are going to automate the build and deployment? We are going to automate the build and deployment. To automate the build and deployment, we will use DevOps tool chain. There are several tools are available to perform this automation. Okay, so to automate build and deployments, we will use several tools. Okay, now as a DevOps engineer, what are the tools you need to know? DevOps tool chain. Set of tools we are going to use. So what are the tools that companies are using nowadays? Maven, GitHub, Bitbucket, okay, then Jenkins, then SonarQube for code review. Jenkins is the main tool which is going to do the build and deployment. Maven is a build tool. GitHub is a repository. GitHub and Bitbucket are the repository. In the project, people will use either Git or Bitbucket. Both will not be available. Here, Maven or Gradle they will use. In project, Either Maven will be available or Gradle will be available, but not both. One project will use only one build tool. Maven and Gradle build tools. Maven or Gradle. Coming to repository, some projects may use GitHub, some projects may use Bitbucket, deployment, CI/CD. Jenkins is a deployment tool. Maven is a build tool. GitHub and Bitbucket are the repository tools. Repository tools. SonarQube, code review, code quality. Code review we will do by using SonarQube. That means whatever the code is done by the developers, whatever the code is done by the developers, is that code is valid or not? That will be checking by using SonarQube or SonarLint. Several tools are available. Several tools are available. Build tool, either Maven or Gradle. Repository, GitHub or Bitbucket. Deployment, Jenkins or Bamboos. Jenkins is one tool, Bamboo is one tool. We can use anything. Code review, SonarQube or SonarLint. Code review, SonarQube or SonarLint. Configuration. Configuration we are going to do by using Chef, Puppet, Ansible. Chef, Puppet, Ansible. Like this, there are several tools are available for configuration management. Are you guys getting my point? Okay. Containers. Containers. Containers we are going to use by using Docker. Orchestration. Orchestration by using Kubernetes. Orchestration by using Kubernetes. Monitoring. App monitoring. App monitoring we are going to do by using Nexus. App monitoring by using New Relic. New Relic tool will be available for app monitoring. For logs monitoring, Grafana, Prometheus, These are tools used for log monitoring. Kibana, ELK. There are several tools are available for log monitoring. Splunk is one tool which is used for log monitoring. Grafana, Prometheus, Kibana, Splunk, like that there are several tools are available for log monitoring. Next one, artifacts. For artifacts, some people will use Nexus, some people will use JFrog. JFrog repositories will be available. These all are the tools which comes under DevOps tool chain. Sir, do we need to learn all these tools? Not required. Not required, because if you know few tools, because every project will not use all these tools, right? Every project will not use all these tools. Every project will use all these tools, huh? No. If the project is using Maven, then Gradle will not be available. If the project is using GitHub, then Bitbucket will not be available. If the project is having Jenkins, then Bamboos will not be available. Are you guys getting my point? Are you guys getting my point? Because when you prepare the resume, from these you can keep some tools. You can keep some tools. In my project, we are using these tools. From project to project, the tools can be different. That's not a problem. DevOps tool chain. So why we are learning all these tools? Why we are learning all these tools, guys? What is the advantage of learning these tools? Why we are using? And one more tool is there, Terraform infrastructure. We can set up the infrastructure by writing the code also. For that we are using Terraform. Infrastructure setup, infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a, you can write the code also to set up the infrastructure. You no need to set up the infrastructure manually. You can automate that infrastructure setup by using Terraform. Nowadays, in the industry, they are asking Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Maven, GitHub, Jenkins, SonarQube. So I mean, all these tools that are important. Here, I'm going to explain you these tools. Here I will explain Jenkins. Here I will explain SonarQube. Here I will explain Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, New Relic, Grafana, Nexus, Terraform. Almost all the tools we are going to cover here. Chef and Puppet, I'm not going to cover. I'm going to cover Ansible. I'm going to cover Ansible here. Chef, Puppet, they are having less demand in the market when compared with Ansible. So I'm going to cover Ansible. So all the tools that we are going to learn here, apart from Chef and Puppet, because currently we are going to learn Ansible for this configurations management. Samjha? So this is a list of tool chain that we are going to use as a DevOps engineer, because tomorrow in the company, you need to work with these tools only. It is going to take approximately 45 days to 2 months of time to learn the DevOps tool chain. It is going to take 45 days to learn the DevOps tool chain. So as I told you, Linux, shell scripting, AWS cloud, DevOps tools, DevOps tool chain. That is our course. DevOps tool chain. Tool chain means a set of tools we are going to learn as part of DevOps. That is our course. Now I hope you got the clarity what we are going to learn and why we are going to learn. Yes, after learning all these tools, then we will implement some projects to get the practical experience. Then interview preparation. Interview kaise attend karna. How to prepare the resume, interview questions and all, everything that I'm going to tell you. So yesterday in the evening 7 o'clock batch, I have completed AWS for them, guys. I have completed AWS for them. So if you see, I have prepared some interview questions also for those people on the AWS. So we are going to provide you these interview questions also, whatever they are going to ask. On the AWS, I prepared 50 questions and I'm going to prepare another 50 questions for only AWS. 100 questions I will give for AWS, 100 questions I will give for DevOps, and on the Linux and shell scripting, I will give 50. 50 plus 100 plus 100, 250 questions I'm going to give you for your interview preparation. If you go for any interview, same questions will be repeated. If you go for any interview, same questions will be repeated. Are you guys getting my point? Now, the only prerequisite to attend this DevOps and AWS is your time. The only prerequisite to attend the DevOps and AWS course is your time. Your time. Everything what is required to become AWS and DevOps engineer will be covered as part of this course. All the tools we are going to learn, Linux we are going to learn, shell script we are going to learn, AWS we are going to learn, real projects implementation, resume preparation, interview questions, everything will be provided. All the support will be available for you. And the daily class notes will be available for you. Daily class recorded videos also will be available for you for revision purpose. What else you need? Can you become a DevOps engineer within 3.5 months now? Yes, you need to take it as a challenge. Yes, I want to become a DevOps engineer within 3.5 months of time. I need to get the job in the IT good MNC company with a 15 lakhs package. That is the target you need to keep and you need to work on that target. I need daily 3 to 4 hours of your time. 1.5 hour class, 1 hour 15 minutes or 1.5 hour class will be available, and 2 to 3 hours of practice is required. You need to spend daily 4 hours with me, then only we can do that magic. If you just attend the class or if you miss the classes, then I can't help you. That is your bad luck. You have to attend the live sessions, because everything we are going to understand from very basic level, from very beginning we are going to understand each and everything. So you need to be regular to the classes, you not miss any class. Sir, we are getting the recorded videos now, so if we miss the class we can watch that videos now. Some people will think like that. There are so many videos are available, there are so many videos are available in the YouTube, so many videos are available in the Udemy. But why you people are joining in the institutes? YouTube videos, Udemy videos will not give you full clarity. They will take one topic and they will explain, but where to use that topic, how to use that topic. If you see, Any YouTube video or Udemy video, when they're explaining a concept, they will not get any problem. They will get the output. They will complete that work. But when you are working on the tools, when you are working on the Maven, when you are working on the Jenkins, you will get n number of problems. In the live course, we are going to discuss about the problems and how to solve those problems also. If you go for Udemy, he will explain Jenkins for 10 minutes. Jenkins is completed. But here, we will take 10 days for Jenkins. YouTube videos, Udemy videos will not give you full clarity, will not give you real-time knowledge, you will not understand how to solve the problems if you go through those videos. So if you attend the live session, you will get the full end-to-end clarity. You can ask doubts and you can take the clarifications also. That is the main advantage of joining live courses. Understood? Yes. Now, from Monday, you need to be ready for 120 days challenge. 120 days you need to spend with me. Then if you spend 120 days with me, then I will make you a very good DevOps with AWS engineer. Comfortable. 120 days challenge that you need to take, and a daily 4 hours. Every day you need to spend 4 hours for me. Daily 4 hours you have to spend. Laptop mandatory because practice is required. Laptop is mandatory. Practice is required. Without practice, there is no use. It is a 120 days challenge to become DevOps engineer. Full stack DevOps engineer. Linux, self-scripting, AWS cloud, DevOps tool chains you are going to learn. It is 120 days challenge. Daily 4 hours you have to spend. Laptop is mandatory. In the 4 hours, 1 hour for class, 1 hour for class, and 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours for practice. Okay. Classes Monday to Saturday. Classes Monday to Saturday. Sunday no class. Sunday chutti. Chutti. Okay. Now daily class notes. Daily class notes plus backup video will be shared. Be shared. Do you need any other support from me during this course? Or it is sufficient? I hope you got the full clarity what you are going to learn. I hope you got the clarity what you are going to learn. Resume preparation, interview questions, everything we are going to provide you. You no need to worry about it. You no need to worry about it. Everything we are going to provide you. Got my point? All right. Now, so from Monday, we are going to start it.